Because the player's gonna play, 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 and the haters are gonna hate, 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 hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake it off, shake it off. Heartbreakers are gonna break, 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 and the fakers are gonna fake, 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 fake. But baby, I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake it off. For those of you who might not be familiar, these immortal words of pop artist Taylor Swift. I have a 22-year-old daughter who has grown up in what might be called Generation Swift, so I am very familiar. Much to the dismay of our son, oldest child, and her brother, Taylor Swift is a staple of the Pfister household. He's not a fan. But from her self-entitled debut from 2006 right up to her most recent release, every season of my children's growing up, there is a corresponding soundtrack. And so apart from the merits of the music, I have come to love her based on this reason alone. She is a part of our story. What can I say? I am a Swiftie. Shake It Off is a classic. It is a feel-good, don't let the bastards get you down anthem of courage. It is the kind of song you blast in your car before stepping out into a world that, for all of its wonder, can also be full of rejection. It's the kind of song you play when you get back in your car after you've taken a few hits, whether in the workplace, the Twitterverse, or the middle school cafeteria. The hater's gonna hate, hate, hate. It is true. And shaking it off is sage advice. Shunning and shame, comparison and competition are nothing new, and rejection has been around for a very long time. In Luke's gospel, Jesus goes to great lengths to prepare his disciples for rejection, for they will most certainly encounter rejection in their effort to share the good news, the inbreaking of God's kingdom. For in Jesus, they have come to know that God's love is indeed for everyone and nearer to them, closer to them than they could have imagined possible. Jesus sends the 70 out in twos. They simply cannot do the work he has called them to do alone. They need each other for support. And also, the harvest is plentiful. So many are ready to receive this good news, but so few are willing to do the work required to share it. Jesus tells it to them straight. See, I am sending you out like lambs into the midst of wolves. Bring nothing with you but who you are. No money, no weapons, no extra resources, just yourself in all your human, fragile vulnerability. Greet no one on the road. Don't get distracted with small talk along the way. Stay focused on your mission to love your neighbor, heal the hurt, and make God's presence known. When you arrive at your destination and meet someone, offer simply peace. Not manipulations or fixes or ideologies or even religion per se. Just peace. The peace that resides inside of you because you know that you are a child of God. Let that peace flow from you toward the stranger. And if they share in that peace, if they recognize it, if they respond to it, well then, bingo, you've made a connection. But if you offer peace and they don't respond, no worries. Nothing is lost in your effort. The peace you've received can't be taken away. the assurance of your belovedness returns undiminished. Respect the people you meet for who they are, no matter their cultural differences. Eat what they serve you, even if it's unfamiliar. And don't move around from house to house looking for a better menu or better digs. Stay where you are welcomed and build relationships there. Remember, you're not the only one who's vulnerable in this equation. They've taken a risk by letting you into their life, so honor them in return. Eat what is set before you. Receive with gratitude what they can give. Ingest who they are. Cure what ails them. Restore them to hope, for these are the gifts of reciprocity and vulnerability. Share life together in this way, and you will bring the kingdom near. Call it into being right then and there. And when this happens, it is as if God were right there, present near, as if God were speaking to them, and despair, fear, degradation, and darkness fall like lightning. But Jesus cautions them. Not everyone wants what you've come to share. Not everybody is ready for that. They will not respond to the peace you bring. Some won't see you for who you are. Your vulnerability may threaten them, and they will not welcome you. They will not offer even the most basic courtesy of ancient times, the water to wash your tired, dusty feet. You'll be rejected, shunned, mocked, cast aside. And when that happens, Jesus tells them, you've got to find a way to move on. When that happens, whatever clings to you from that encounter, the dust of it, whatever residue of hate or shame or scorn that wants to glom onto you, do not let it. Declare that you will not carry it with you. Speak it out loud. Say it to yourself. Say it in the streets. I am not taking any of this ugliness with me. By the grace of the one who sent me, in the freedom of the one who forgives me, by the power of love that made me and saves me, I shake it off. Man, I sure wish I could handle rejection like that. Don't you? But the truth is, sometimes I don't, sometimes we don't, not by a long shot. I think we tend to think of this passage strictly in terms of discipleship, but I think its wisdom is really broader than that. If what we want most, if what we long for as human beings is to feel that we are worthy of love and belonging, then rejection is one of the hardest and most painful experiences a person can have. So often when we are rejected, we can take that rejection as a true measure of our worth. We let that shame inside, and we can let it tell us who we are. It can make us doubt ourselves, even hate ourselves. It can make us rejecting to others in return, angry, or even vengeful. If we don't learn to handle rejection, rejection handles us, and not in a good way. By way of a very extreme example, there is an online community or movement, I'm not really sure what to call it, of something called incels. You may have heard of them. Incels are involuntary celibates. They're mostly heterosexual men who believe themselves to be fundamentally inferior to other men, such that women reject them romantically and otherwise. They can't compete with the Chads, as they like to call them. the alpha males with desirable bone structure, athletic ability, intellect, and charm. And they blame women and feminism for the unfortunate state of affairs. And I won't go into too much detail, but suffice it to say that incels really, really hate women almost as much as they hate themselves. They are a group that is easily mocked. Incels, those guys who hate women because, they can't hook up. That is until, you scratch the surface. What lies beneath is a self-reinforcing subculture of nihilism and deep, deep despair. It is unbelievably sad and profoundly tragic for these young men. Incels believe that they will never be loved. In a culture that elevates romance and desirability as the primary marker of one's worth and value, these men can't even conceive that there are other kinds of love that might bring meaning and fulfillment to their lives. In the cultural marketplace, they believe themselves to be fundamentally, irrevocably flawed. In the lexicon of their online community, these men reinforce for one another a narrative of hatred and self-loathing until it becomes their core identity. Some of them lash out at women, many of them are suicidal, and all of them feel deeply hopeless. If we don't learn to handle rejection, rejection handles us. The framework that Jesus lays out for his disciples to take risks, the risks necessary for relationships of love and transformation, the framework he sets out to help us manage hurt and rejection, well, it rests on two things. First, that they are a part of a community of love to begin with. They are sent out in twos. They are not alone. Everyone needs at least one person in their lives to reflect back to them their worth and belovedness. The second is that the peace of the Lord that surpasses understanding, it cannot be taken away. It is the peace derived from an identity that is grounded in God's love. It is that sense, that belief within oneself that no matter how flawed we may be, no matter how inferior we may appear in the cultural marketplace, no matter how successful or good-looking we are, no matter what, we are God's beloved. God made us, and God loves us, and God has a purpose for us, and our identity, our whole sense of being finds its grounding there. And no matter what rejection we face, this knowledge and love of God, this peace which surpasses understanding, it's ours. They can't take it away. There are so many souls in this world who are desperately lonely and isolated in their own self-reinforcing narrative of despair. They don't know their worth, and they don't have a friend to show them the way. Handling rejection is not something we are born knowing how to do. It's something we learn and we practice over time with people who care about us. It's a capacity that we develop, and we need God and one another to develop that capacity. We need to be reminded again and again of our true identity, the one that really matters, the one that tells us we're forgiven, the one that tells us our worth doesn't come from success or wealth or physical appearance, but simply because we are made in the image and likeness of God. We need people around us who will lovingly hold us accountable to become our best and truest self, reflecting back to us with love and forbearance those things we most need to see about ourselves, both our limitations, but also our gifts. In our life together as a Christian community, we see lived out among its members a multitude of ways to live a happy and fulfilled existence that has nothing to do with how attractive or successful we are. We see people who others may have cast aside, people who are decidedly imperfect, and we see them thrive and blossom and manifest God's love to the people around them, and we learn from them that we can do it too. Our capacity to handle rejection is one of the most important and necessary capacities that we can develop if we are going to become the people God intends us to be. It is vital to our own happiness and ultimately to the flourishing of our brothers and sisters in the world. Our ability to grow, to be strengthened even by these painful experiences, is essential if we are going to take the risks necessary to love and be loved, to see and to be seen. The haters are going to hate. The fakers are going to fake. And our hearts will understandably break. But that is not the end of the story. That is not all there is, or who we are, or what God wants for any of us. That is the good news, the gospel we live and we move and we have our being in. That's the good news that God's people are longing to hear. The harvest is plentiful. So many are so ready to receive this good news. The work required to share it begins with our capacity to risk rejection in the name of love. So crank up the volume on those anthems of courage. Sing it out until you believe it. God's love knows no bounds. And if anyone tells you different, shake it off. Amen.